welcome to Centre Point, the Tata story. I'm Surabhi Upadhyay. The trustees of Tata Trusts are meeting today to take stock of the group's investments towards several long gestation businesses that require deep capital commitment. Now, these businesses could perhaps be lucrative in the long run, but are currently loss-making. I'm talking about new age consumer tech opportunities under Tata Digital, the electronics and semiconductor businesses under Tata Electronics, and of course the nation's flag carrier, Air India. The meeting of the Tata Trusts comes just a few days before the next Tata Sons meeting, which is slated for June 12th, that is this Friday. And in this meeting, the Tata Sons board may deliberate upon critical issues like governance and leadership succession. To understand the latest twists and turns in the Tata story, I now have with me my colleague, Moneycontrol's Deborshi Chaki, who has been reporting on a lot of these developments over the last many weeks and months. Deborshi, thank you so much for taking out the time. I know it's a busy day for you. You would have been working the phones. But as we have this conversation at around 1:30 this Monday afternoon, first let's establish the facts. So these meetings are underway. And is it just one of the Tata Trusts or is it many of these trusts? Are they all meeting together? What do we know as of now?
Well, Surabhi, what we understand is besides SRTT, which is Sir Ratan Tata Trust, among one of the two key trusts, that trust is not meeting today. But apart from SRTT, all the other trusts, including Sir Dorabji Tata Trust, I must for the understanding of the viewers, I must add that Sir Dorabji Tata Trust and Sir Ratan Tata Trust both control the largest shareholding in Tata Sons, which is the holding company of Tata Group. What we understand from our sources is that Dorabji Tata Trust and some of the other ancillary trusts, including Tata Education and Development Trust, they're all meeting today at various points in time to basically discuss key issues, not always pertaining to what is happening in Tata Sons per se, but we are given to understand that Sir Dorabji Tata Trust, which has several common trustees, who also sit on SRTT, as well as on Dorabji Tata Trust, they're all meeting. And some of the key issues which you just mentioned, including the long gestation projects, the continuity of some of the top leadership in Tata Sons, those things are likely to come up for discussion.
Now, these are, issues that have been ongoing, Debo, isn't it right? And we've been discussing this as well. Several meetings have happened so far this year already. And it seems that Tata Trusts want to take stock of the way the Tata Group is spending its capital. Is that why this is all under review?
I mean, the genesis of the problem began with the fact that few members of Tata Trusts, trustees of Tata Trust, felt that they are not being kept in the loop by the leadership in Tata Sons about some of the key decisions, especially pertaining to capital allocation in the Tata Group. So I think that the problem started with the fact that some trustees felt that they were being kept in the dark, or rather being sidelined, while the trustees, which were the nominee directors in Tata Sons, they were taking all the calls. So this dates back to last year. And now the fact remains that the trustees, all of them, have a fiduciary responsibility. If tomorrow, there are controversies around some of these investments, all of them are equally accountable, and not just those who represent the trust and Tata Sons. So clearly, it's a stock-taking exercise. All the trustees want to be equally involved, given their responsibility, fiduciary and otherwise. They all want to understand what's going on with Tata Trust, with Tata Sons, what is the way forward, because ultimately they are accountable. These trusts are public charitable trusts. Essentially, these are accountable to the citizens of the country. So whatever decisions that go on in Tata Sons, they need to know that. And they also at some level vet that to ensure that they align with the long-term objective of Tata Group. A large part of it is also, which is actually, as we all know, is philanthropy. A large portion, in fact, the majority portion of the profits of Tata Sons go to Tata Trusts, which again use that money for various public welfare initiatives like running hospitals, education institutions, and many other things that we come to know Tata Group for. So clearly, these are very important issues for the trustees.
Okay. Now, we must also tell our viewers, Deborshi, that this is a meeting that's coming ahead, a few days ahead of another very important meeting, right? It's coming a few days after the previous Tata Sons meeting that happened, I think, on just towards the end of May, right? And the next Tata
Yes,
Sons meeting is on June 12. So the sequence of
that
events is
is,
important to note as well,
yes.
isn't it?
That's right. Yes. The last meeting of Tata Sons was on May 26th, which we reported quite extensively. So that meeting, I must also tell our viewers that that meeting was largely a review meeting of various group businesses. Our sources have told us that many CEOs of these companies, including Air India, the consumer businesses which you mentioned, the semiconductor business, the CEOs of these respective businesses, they went and made presentations about their respective businesses, which was reviewed by the board of Tata Sons, which includes, of course, Noel Tata, who is actually the representative of the trust as the chairman of Tata Trust. He was there. Uh, Chandrasekharan was there, who's the chairman of Tata Sons, and also other board members of Tata Group, of Tata Sons. So that was essentially a review meeting. Again, subsequently, what we have learned from our sources that Noel Tata has raised concerns about some of these presentations which were made to them. For example, the consumer business. This business has been bleeding for a long time, and we understand that in that May 26th meeting, a demand was a requisition was made for another additional 7,000 crore in equity for the consumer business. And the projections which we are given to understand were in the range of 45% top line growth, which we again understand Noel Tata questioned. He basically asked the CEO concerned how this was achievable given the tight competitive environment that the consumer businesses are operating. We all know that platforms like Flipkart, Amazon, and there are so many niche platforms which have taken the lion's share of the market. So in a competitive environment like this, could Tata Consumer be able to achieve these rather ambitious targets which they were setting for themselves, and whether Tata Group should continue to subsidize these businesses? So clearly, these were the key issues that came up for discussions on Tata on May 26th meeting. Subsequently, we were given to understand that Noel Tata is expected in the Dorabji Tata Trust meeting today, and he's expected to apprise the rest of the other trustees about his observations. Basis which, again, we are given to understand that there might be some kind of a collective consensus building for what the trust may say, or the way the trust may, the way forward for the trust on the June 12th meeting, which is coming week, where some of the key issues, including leadership. Yes, yes.
So, Deborshi, I mean, the investments already committed for these businesses are pretty large, right? Particularly, let's say, semiconductors. By some estimates, I think the Tatas have already committed up to $13-14 billion to build an end-to-end semiconductor ecosystem. Now, that would have been done with some thought. So the issue is, once again, maybe not enough communication between the trusts and Tata Sons on these commitments. Is the issue more about Air India and the additional capital that will be required by Air India? I mean, basically, is the issue over just a difference in communication or inadequate communication, or could the capital spending plans themselves undergo a review and change?
I feel, Surabhi, the issue is not really about Air India or the electronics business. These are very national. These businesses have a national significance. Like you mentioned, Air India used to be India's flag carrier. Tata's, in a way, have rescued it. So I think they're very much committed to running and sustaining Air India for the longest possible time. Likewise, the semiconductor business also has national security, energy implications. I think so we need to distinguish the businesses in certain ways. I think the businesses which have a strategic importance for the country, the trusts, including Noel Tata, as well as Tata Sons, I think they are equally committed. Questions are being raised about certain other businesses, mainly in this case, the consumer business, which obviously, consumers have plenty of choice in the current market. So does Tata Group need to have a consumer platform where they are selling, electronic products, where they are selling makeup, where they are selling accessories, apparels? This is the key question. Is this business core to Tata Group's objective, long-term objective, and whether these businesses are aligned? And should Tata Group keep on spending on these businesses or rather should it use these businesses to basically support more important, more strategic businesses like the semiconductor business, for example, or Air India for that matter?
Deborshi, I want to go back to a story that you reported on, I think it was the 2nd of June. I want to tell our viewers, if you go back to our website, Moneycontrol, you'll find all the stories there. And that is where I think, Deborshi, in that story, you made this very, very interesting point. It's maybe not so much about the so-called national cause, businesses and missions, which is semiconductor, which is Air India. Maybe it's more about Tata Digital. So tell us more about the numbers involved over there, Deborshi, because I think that business as a whole, Tata Digital, it's still running into a significant loss.
That's right. I don't remember the numbers offhand, Surabhi, but yes, these have been these have been loss-making businesses. They are expected to, for the next 3 financial years. I'm again, my understanding from the presentation which was made on May 26th, they are expected to lose at least 3,000 crores every financial year, which adds up to 9,000 crore for the next 3 years. So clearly, these are large amounts of money which are involved, plus the 7,000 crore equity infusion. So yes, there are concerns looming about the kind of investments it requires and whether the outcome is worth it. If the cost benefit really adds up.
And then there has been the talk about whether Mr. Noel Tata's daughter, Maya Tata, whether her role will undergo a change, and she's been involved with Tata Digital, if I'm correct.
Yes, she has been. There are reports that she may eventually move on from that business, which should not come as a big surprise given what Noel Tata's position has been, on this front. So my sense is the move is also slightly symbolic, where the family, is looking to distance itself from the businesses it doesn't really fully agree with.
It's very, very interesting. So this seems right now from, what our reportage has indicated so far and sources have been telling Moneycontrol so far, that there is a bit of a disconnect, especially when it comes to Tata Digital and these new age businesses which are still running in losses. And those losses, as Deborshi is saying, might run in for another 3 years and could then total up to almost 9,000 crore rupees. That is where there's a fundamental disconnect, perhaps, between the way Mr. Noel Tata is looking at things and the way the present Tata Sons board has been looking at things. And maybe this is going to come up for a review, of course, in the meeting that's ongoing today. But then, Debo, let's pull back a little bit. A difference over how much investment a business should get or shouldn't get is not the only difference in the group right now, right? I mean, there are far deeper issues at play here as well, whether it comes to governance, board member nominations, succession at Tata Sons, Mr. Chandra's future. So where do some of those elements lie? Those are massive matters as well before the Tatas, aren't they?
No, definitely. These are big questions. We have seen over the years, although the Tatas, the surname has always mattered, the surname has immensely mattered in the affairs of the group. The late Ratan Tata had huge amount of influence even after he stepped down as the chairman. Current chairman N. Chandrasekaran was handpicked by him, and we are given to understand that for everything he would, as a matter of courtesy, he would always go to R&T and seek his approval. There is some kind of disconnect between Noel Tata and N. Chandrasekaran. We don't know what that is, whether it's a communication breakdown, whether it is just a interpersonal issue. It is not entirely clear, but what is clear is that things are not normal. Things are not, life is not as usual as it should be within the Tata Group. Again, there is a question of succession. So Noel Tata in previous meetings has questioned N. Chandrasekaran's commitment when it comes to the listing of Tata Sons. He has repeatedly asked him to make his stand clear whether he wants Tata Sons to remain unlisted or does he favor listing. Personally, Noel Tata, as we all know, is against the listing of Tata Sons, which he has basically time and again said goes against the very principle of Tata Group, which is public philanthropy. If it becomes a listed company, then there is obviously additional pressure of quarter to quarter shareholders, minority shareholders, and rightly so. So all these pressures, tugs and pulls are going to come if Tata Sons becomes a listed company. Noel Tata has previously, as has the Tata Trust, they have unanimously decided to do everything possible to keep Tata Sons unlisted. In the last May 26th meeting, Noel Tata, we understand, has categorically asked N. Chandrasekaran, what is his stand? And we are again given to understand that he didn't really fully clarify. He was not very, he was slightly non-committal on that part. So this is a very key issue, the listing of Tata Sons, number one. The second thing is the reappointment of N. Chandrasekaran for next 5 years. Now, there are again questions whether he should continue for the next 5 years or maybe he should given a shorter term. We have been told, there are a lot of numbers, lot of time periods which are being discussed. 2 year is also a likely possibility. All these key issues are obviously going to come up for discussion today and as well as when the next board meeting happens of Tata Sons.
All right. So a lot of contentious issues remain. So, Deborshi, let's just once again recap the next set of events that our viewers and, of course, investors across group companies need to watch. So today is the Trusts meeting. Trusts will take a call on various businesses, including this contentious issue around Tata Digital and how much more to invest and not invest. So the Trust will form a view. Then there is the Tata Sons meeting itself on Friday. Now, in the midst of all of this, there was apparently some case at the Mumbai Charity Commissioner's office as well. What was all that about, and is it relevant to the overall scheme of things?
It is relevant to the extent that, as we all know, these are Tata Trusts are public charitable trusts. So they are basically governed or accountable to the Charity Commissioner by law. So there were two complaints, essentially. There was one complaint by a lawyer. I'm not able to recall Katyayani Sharma or Singh. She basically has complained to the Charity Commissioner saying that Tata Trusts are not fully compliant with Maharashtra government regulation, which basically stipulates a particular number of life and particular number of number of members who basically get appointed for a period of 3 years. Now there is a question whether that regulation is retrospective in effect, because as we know, Tata Sons, Tata Trusts have been around for many, many decades, and the regulation has come very recently. As far as Dorabji Tata Trust, I think that's compliant with the current regulation. SRTT had 3 life members, if I'm not mistaken. So that is something that has been raised before the Charity Commissioner. Likewise, Venu Srinivasan has also made some complaints about the way Tata Trusts have been functioning. Post which the Charity Commissioner has directed SRTT, which is Sir Ratan Tata Trust, to not hold any meeting till there is a further decision in this regard. And that is the reason why today's meeting we don't have SRTT. Now, the significance of SRTT not being around is because both trusts have to unanimously or rather collectively decide on the next course of action. So, they don't have then full quorum if they have to take any key decision pertaining to any of the leadership changes that we just discussed about and all of those things when the May 12th, June 12th meeting happens next Friday. So these are the challenges. Yes.
So, Deborshi, that's extremely material, right? Until this matter at the Charity Commissioner is disposed and it is verified and certified that SRTT, Sir Ratan Tata Trust, that is fully compliant with existing rules and regulations. Till that happens, and till the trust, the Sir Ratan Tata Trust can give its very clear views on all these matters, whether it's capital allocation, listing of Tata Sons, etc., is there a case that maybe the June 12th meeting gets postponed, or, that we don't have any kind of a final outcome then, even on June 12th?
No, it's a gray area, clearly in law. The trust can always approach a higher authority. They can always go to the courts to question the Charity Commissioner's action. We don't know what is the legal course or recourse they are seeking. But as of now, it doesn't appear that SRTT is in a position to take any decision till the time there is clarity. Of course, this, I mean, we are told by legal experts that Tata Trust can always, SRTT itself can challenge this in the High Court and going forward to the Supreme Court. But none of that has happened yet. So it's a kind, things are currently in a state of suspended animation, and we will only know with due course what finally is going to happen.
A state of suspended animation. I think that kind of sums up the current situation. And for the sake of the many shareholders, the millions of employees, wider stakeholders, I mean, this is a huge conglomerate that we're talking about. One only hopes that the state of suspended animation ends. There is decision, there is congruence on these important matters, and then the Tata story can march ahead as it always has. Deborshi, thank you very much for always keeping us up to date on all these latest developments. And trust me, we're going to come back to you probably on Friday with another update, another edition of Center Point, the Tata story. But for today, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
All right, with that, it's a wrap, viewers. Thanks for being with us, and keep it with Moneycontrol for all the latest developments on the Tata Group.